The end of semifinal Tuesday in Division II finally coming to a close here a little bit later than scheduled, as the number 5 seeded Johnson & Wales Wildcats are set to face the 9th seeded Penn State York Nittany Lions, fresh off upending the top seed Berkeley College Knights from New York and the 4-time defending champion Berkeley College Knights 69-67 a night ago. Hello everybody and welcome to our final game, the nightcap here at Penn State Fayette, alongside my broadcast partner Chuck Durso. I'm Rob Longo. Glad to have you join us here on the Eberly campus. This should be a fun one between these two schools who not a lot of people expected to be here right now.
Rob, it's been a tournament of upsets. It's been a tournament of comebacks, as we've seen lots of teams coming back from large deficits in the second half to either make games close or pull out victories. So a 40-minute game, and this should be exciting right now. I think both of these teams have to think that the opportunity is there to grab the brass ring with the top 2 seeds eliminated from this tournament. Both of these teams know that if they can advance to tomorrow's championship game, they have as good a chance as any.
Yeah, semifinal bracket set up like this, the 5 and 9 seed here, because Johnson & Wales beat Southern Maine Community College 81-71. That was on Sunday. And then Penn State York was the penultimate team to make the tournament as the 9 seed, beat Central Penn, and then upended Berkeley College last night. So 3 straight games here for York in 3 days about to happen here. On the other side for Vermont Tech upended Villa Maria yesterday 70-66, but fell to Penn State Wilkes-Barre 80-74. So Wilkes-Barre is into the finals, and it could be 2 Penn State branch campuses, or it could be Johnson & Wales of North Carolina to face off tomorrow at 7 o'clock here in the main arena. Starting 5 for Johnson & Wales, it's Marley Poole, Kawan, Madden McAfee, PJ Gill, Christian Cresswell, and Robert Hobson. That's the starting 5 for Johnson & Wales, which will be moving left to right in the home white uniforms with the blue numerals. And Johnson & Wales able to control the opening tip. On the other side for Penn State York, moving right to left, it's Michael Coleman, Shania Day, Justin Luton, John Gillespie, and Derek Hoffman. First possession results in a turnover for Johnson & Wales, and Penn State York will get the chance to score the first points of the contest.
York comes out in a man-to-man defense. It forces the early turnover, and also in the man-to-man to open things up, Johnson & Wales.
Everybody playing it straight up early on here, just 30 seconds into the contest. John Gillespie had himself a night yesterday against Berkeley. Hesitation move up and in from Michael Coleman wearing the double zeros.
Nice patience there as he got the ball down on the block, the pump fake.
On the baseline, here comes Johnson & Wales. Hesitation move the other way works as well for Christian Cresswell. Couple of layups to answer each other here about 50 seconds into the contest. Shania Day between the rings, goes left side to Justin Luton. Penn State York looking to get back into the championship game for the first time since 2017. And back then the Lions lost to Berkeley College. That one's no good, but the follow-up by Coleman is good. He now has 4, all 4 of York's points here just a minute 15 into the contest.
Either side with a particular size advantage when you take a look at the lineup, so we'll see how that plays on the boards, but early on a couple of second chance opportunities for York.
The biggest guy out there right now is probably, oh, how about that for a 3? Marley Poole able to pull one, but as I was going to say, Derek Hoffman's probably the guy out there that has the biggest size advantage, along with Justin Luton at 6'5" and 6'6" respectively. On the other side, it's Christian Cresswell at 6'6" for Johnson & Wales. That'll plug up the middle. And going straight up there as well was Robert Hobson, and finally a foul is called with 18-13 to go in the first half.
Second straight possession where they get a second shot opportunity, the Lions. Had the putback bucket last time out. This time, a couple of free throws coming up now.
Have Justin Luton at the line for a couple of shots, averaging close to 12 points a game. 51% free throw shooter on the season. Little bend of the knees, and that one misses the back iron. Luton, a 6'6" senior from Baltimore, Maryland. Attended Newtown High School. Second one on the way. That one rattles home. So somebody other than Michael Coleman able to get points on the board for Penn State York roughly 2 minutes into the first half. Robert Hobson in the front court, the 6'5 junior, nearly loses the handle. Doesn't utilize the screen to his left, instead goes right and throws that one off the backside of the backboard.
Trying to do too much there, trying to play a little 1-on-5 basketball, and that's usually the way it ends up.
Turnover early on for Johnson & Wales. From Charlotte, North Carolina. Women's team fell in the semifinal round a little bit earlier today. There's a three ball that rims around no good from Derek Hoffman. In transition, here comes Johnson & Wales the other way. Good take, but not able to get the roll was P.J. Gill.
No patience early on from the Johnson & Wales offense, just looking to go to the hole right away without getting into any sort of an offensive set. On the other side, we see York trying to run their offense, although a turnover there on the spin move.
Hoffman shuffled the feet when he tried to put the defender in the spin cycle. So a couple turnovers, both teams trying to feel each other early on. Johnson & Wales going to try to run the offense here from the right side of the court, near side. Maneuvering around is P.J. Gill. Finds a lane, and he has it swatted by the much taller Derek Hoffman.
Hoffman says, "This is my world. You're just a squirrel trying to get a nut. Get that ball out of here." We get an inbounds under the basket.
You got P.J. Gill listed at 6'4". Might be giving up a little bit because Hoffman's listed at 6'5", and there's a definite height advantage there.
Right.
Under 10 to shoot. Long three on the way. Money. How about that from Kawan Madden McAfee? First bucket of the game for him. It's a big three.
Johnson & Wales has hit a couple from well beyond the arc.
16.5 to play in the first half. Rob Longo and Chuck Durso, glad to have you with us. Final semifinal game this evening. Corner three from Gillespie, rattles around, no good. Second chance effort here. That one's no good either. Penn State York bench pleading for a foul, no call. Here comes Kawan Madden McAfee the other day, running the floor, easy layup, and that's got to be a goaltend. It is.
Numbers, 3-on-1 break. Nice distribution there. Finding Hobson basically wide open for the layup. Easy call there for the officials on the goaltend.
I wish I had that problem of goaltending a basket. Can't say I do. Right now, Johnson & Wales doubling up Penn State York, 10-5.
Does Nerf basketball at home count?
Well, we might got a case there if that works.
I can do it there.
That works. Didn't think about that. On the kick out, looking for Shania Day. Corner three, back iron, too strong. That one tipped right into the hands of Derek Hoffman, who lays up the bunny.
We see a trend early on here. On the offensive glass, the Lions right now dominating a bit, and that's keeping them close.
Penn State York 22-8 overall in the season coming into the day. How about a three yourself? Almost falls for Christian Cresswell. On the other side, Johnson & Wales 20-10 went undefeated in Eastern Metro Athletic Conference play. Penn State York went 12-7 in the PSUAC. Shania Day slicing down the lane and able to switch hands in the air and get the layup. Great play by Day.
No fear, went in amongst the tall trees and just laid it in pretty.
Not bad for a guy that's listed at 5'8". In the front court, Madden McAfee kick out, corner three. Making it rain is P.J. Gill. 3 3-pointers for Johnson & Wales early on, all by three different people. It's a 13-9 lead.
San Antonio Spurs basketball right there. Just spot up in the corner and find them.
Well, if you got the shooters, it works out well. John Gillespie thought about attacking the teeth of the defense. Instead, he'll swing it out wide to Shania Day. He runs into some heavy resistance, and that one rolls off the foot of Derek Hoffman. And it ends up being a out-of-bounds play, and possession goes in favor of Johnson & Wales with 14:44 to go. That'll take us to our first media timeout of the first half. Johnson & Wales up 13-9 in our final USCAA National Championship semifinal.
I want to let you know that Northwest Designs, Inc. is the official merchandiser of the National Championships. They provide an outstanding selection of apparel that is fully customizable, so don't miss out on the memory of the 2019 Basketball National Championships. To purchase your official 2019 USCAA National Basketball Championships merchandise from Northwest Designs, Inc., visit their booth in the community center located near the food court.
Taking a look at both of these teams, how they got here. He talked about Penn State York with arguably the upset of the tournament with that 69-67 win over Berkeley last night. Derek Hoffman had a team-high 14 points. He fouled out with 2 minutes to go in the game, too. Michael Coleman, Justin Luton, and John Gillespie also in double figures. But the other thing, too, for the Nittany Lions is that all of the points in the second half came from the starters, 0 bench points. Same starters as last night today. That's Coleman, Day, Luton, Gillespie, and Hoffman.
They spread it around offensively. You take a look,
Sure.
Their leading scorer on the year, that's Anthony Bennett, coming into this tournament, averaged less than 13 points a game. That tells you they have a balanced attack. Obviously, they'll be looking for more production from the bench in this one.
That one nearly thrown out of bounds, out of the media timeout. And a foul on the floor before the drive to the lane on Penn State York. We'll see who this one's on. It's going to be on Shania Day, his first. Team foul number 1 of the first half is we'll have Anthony Bennett Jr. check in for Penn State York. First bench player for Penn State York this evening. Inbound baseline right is Kawan Madden McAfee. Bounce pass to the left block. Second chance doesn't go either. And how about that? The 5'8" Shania Day getting the defensive board. He stops and pops from 15 feet around, almost gets the roll, and finally pulled in by Marley Poole. Poole on the kick out. Wide open look from 3 on the left corner. That one rims out no good. Poole couldn't get to that one either, and guess who gets it again? Shania Day. He just sneaks around in there in the paint. Foul, no basket. They're going to say it's on the floor. Stops play with 14:11 to go.
On both ends of the court, we're seeing absolutely no fear from Day. He just goes in there and plays, and you got to like that. And you know that has to be inspiring to his teammates.
So first foul on Jackson Baylark of Johnson & Wales, team foul number 2. Both teams playing physical but clean here in the first 6 minutes of the first half. Off a screen, it's Anthony Bennett Jr. trying to back his defender down. And it goes back out to Shania Day between the circles. Long 2 from Gillespie, front of the rim, no good. Skying into the air for that one was Marley Poole. Listed at 6'3", but he can get up. Strong to the rim there, can't get it, tries to get his own rebound. Got a paw on it, but Derek Hoffman with another board. Now it's Shania Day for Penn State Beaver. John Gillespie on the wing with the neon green kicks. York in the Navy uniforms with the white trim down the side and the waistband. Shania with a big take, but a bigger block the other way for Johnson & Wales. Wildcats going in transition. Madden McAfee here. Slows down the tempo momentarily for Robert Hobson, who puts up a 3. Rims around no good. And pulled down by Michael Coleman.
Well, you can't blink with this Wildcats squad. They get down, they get across the timeline. They're looking to shoot.
Yeah, that's similar to the kind of style that Berkeley played yesterday against Penn State York, and York held its own, obviously, with a win. And there's a spinner in the lane from Anthony Bennett. First basket, 13-11.
York is finding space in the lane. They're able to get open looks in there in spite of the height of this Wildcat squad. Well-designed offensive sets so far from the Lions.
Madden McAfee step back 3. Back of the rim, no good. This time Anthony Bennett gets the rebound. Jogs it across midcourt. Hesitation move, splits 2 defenders and gets the finger roll.
Right down the lane. Nobody picking him up. And we talk about York with their offensive rebounds. On the other side, Johnson & Wales, they're getting no second opportunities so far.
Trying to spin is Zarian Wilkins. Loses the handle and quick the other way is Bennett Jr. Can't get it to roll. And Wilkins cleans up his mess on the defensive end. In transition, extra pass goes to Hobson. Now back to Madden McAfee. This one rolls out. Wilkins able to load up a 3, but it's short. Offensive board.
Nice ball movement there, leading in the open look. Didn't go down, but another chance.
Another hesitation move on to jump stop from Kawan Madden McAfee. His first bucket, and it's back up to a 2-point Johnson & Wales lead. Wildcats defeated Southern Maine 81-71 on Sunday. Had a day of rest. Kawan Madden McAfee and Robert Hobson each had a team-high 22 points. The Wildcats were incandescent beyond the arc, 14 of 30 from three-point land. That one rejected by Hoffman. Hoffman has it rejected, I should say. And here comes Johnson & Wales quickly the other way. Reverse layup using the rim to protect his shot was Zarian Wilkins for his first bucket.
Wildcats looking to push. They want to score in transition, get up and down the court. York a little more patient offensively.
In the front court, it's Anthony Bennett Jr. to Michael Coleman. Under 11 minutes to go first half. 4-point lead for Johnson and Wales. Strong take to the right on the right side by Derek Hoffman. 4 for him.
All of York's points have come in the paint so far.
Yeah. A lot of twos. How about that? Sweet little jumper from Marley Poole. 5 points for him.
Just a nice little pull-up jumper, silky smooth on the release. 4-point game.
Coleman in the Penn State York Lions going with a more traditional half-court offense. Set goes to Coleman on the wing. Driving towards the baseline, runs into some trouble. That one's swatted away, trying to save it in doing so.
Nicely
Johnson
done.
and Wales.
And I think it went off of
Baylark.
I think it went off of York. We didn't get a signal. There it is, yeah.
Yeah, he threw it back into play. It deflected off a York player, and wholesale substitutions now for Penn State York.
Slight defensive adjustment by Johnson and Wales. They've played the man-to-man the whole way, but it was kind of a man-to-man that was packed in for the first few possessions. They've extended that defense out a little bit now, putting a little more ball pressure on York. Now, conversely, yeah, York has been able to find some room inside because of the extension of the man-to-man. And a turnover.
In transition the other way. Fouled, no basket. We'll go to the line for 2. That is Dominic Webb, who did not play last night for Penn State York. Hobson picks up his first personal. Team foul number 3. Dominic Webb at the line for 2. As Webb on the season is about a 58% foul shooter from the line. Can't get the first one to go. 6'3" sophomore. Chance at a second. Second one doesn't go either. Webb trying to get his own rebound from the foul line. Still fighting for it, and it's last touched by Kawan Madden McAfee of Johnson and Wales.
Justin Luton gets major props on that one. He's the one who kept it alive off of the miss, tapped it out, and eventually goes out of bounds off of the Wildcats. They need to reset the shot clock. It was at 26. We'll reset it to 30.
This one goes to Joey O'Dwyer, who also did not play in yesterday's game against Berkeley. Floater around the rim, doesn't get the second bounce. Trying to fight for the rebound in doing so was Luton. And we'll have a foul called on Malik Bullock. That'll be his first personal. And that'll take us to another media timeout. Timeout on the floor, 9:48 to go. 19-15, Johnson and Wales leads it.
I want to remind you that Rawlings is the official basketball of the USCAA and the 2019 USCAA National Basketball Championships. Visit rawlings.com for a wide array of baseball equipment and gear. Also, East Bay is a proud sponsor of the USCAA. Visit eastbay.com for your sporting good needs, including equipment and apparel.
Taking a look at tomorrow's action, it all gets kicked off at 2 o'clock for the Women's Division II National Championship between top-seeded Villa Maria College and Central Maine Community College. The Women's Division II bracket all holding chalk, all top 4 seeds advanced. The only upset was Penn State Fayette over 8-seeded Southern Maine Community College in the preliminary round. So Villa Maria with a 66-62 overtime win against Johnson and Wales today to survive. Central Maine defeated Penn State Lehigh Valley 65-53 for the Mustangs to get back and now into the championship round. Again, that's at 2 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have a skills competition for the Division I athletes who will start competition on Thursday. All the quarterfinal round games in Division I on men's and women's will be on Thursday. A cut. So I'll have to come out and get it checked. Make sure there's none on a jersey or else he might have to change jerseys. So Rasko's going to run the point here with 3 minutes to go first half. Might work out well because Day could always use a break. And running the point a lot.
Very cleanly played first half, Rob, in terms of fouls. Nobody in foul trouble, and team-wise, only 5 team fouls against Johnson and Wales, only 2 team fouls thus far against York.
That's a pleasant change of pace based on everything else that's happened today, as Derek Hoffman is called for the travel. We've had a lot of games here with, you don't want to say that the officials determine them, but a lot of players got in foul trouble and put themselves in that position to maybe not be the beneficiary of a 50-50 call. We saw it a lot in the Division II semifinal of the women's game. I think we had 3 people foul out. No clear possession there for Ryan Wilkins. That's why he wasn't called for the travel, but he misses a shot either way.
Yeah, he stayed with it very well, but then tough luck on those rims.
Someone, like I said, must have put some saran wrap on there at some point. Put the lid on the hoop. 3's no good. Gillespie almost with a putback two-hander. And the ball last touched by Johnson and Wales. Possession stays with York with 2:06 to play.
John Gillespie, 5'11", playing a lot bigger than that as he skied up to keep that ball alive. And again, we've said it several times, that's what York has done throughout this half. 2nd, 3rd, sometimes 4th opportunities.
Loris Lawson checks into the game for Johnson and Wales. On the tip-in, Coleman is fouled. He'll go to the line for 2.
Again, right off the inbounds under the basket, they just set a screen down low to create a little bit of space there so that Coleman could catch the lob pass. Was unable to convert, but will get a pair from the stripe.
As Ryan Wilkins picks up his first personal foul. Coleman can't convert on the first one. Coleman on the season, a 71% free throw shooter. First time at the foul line today. 6'4" sophomore from York, PA. Coleman's second is too strong. So an empty trip to the foul line for Penn State York. It's still a 3-point lead for the Lions. Going hard to the rim was Poole. He's pleading for a foul. He won't get it. Coleman the other way. At the last second, dumps it off, but he's called for a charge. That'll be his first personal. Team foul number 3.
Kawan McPhee does a great job there of not only establishing position but staying outside of the defensive arc. He drew the contact, stepped in there in a situation where York had some numbers, maybe a little bit impatient offensively.
Coleman is able to control his body a little bit more. That's an easy look over to the other block. Probably results in at least a 5-point lead, maybe an and-one opportunity. Never want to speculate, but regardless, might have cost York some points. And an offensive foul called on Lawson for moving while he set the screen.
Stuck the hip out just enough that the officials decided that was a little too far. Crossed the line, and now York with the 3-point lead will come back down court as Robert Hobson checks back in for the Wildcats.
Hobson's going to come in for Zarian Wilkins. Across midcourt is Larry Rasco. Reserve guard. Gets the ball back on the wing. Holds with 18 to shoot. Plenty of time still left for both sides here in the first half. 17 fouls now, by the way, for Johnson and Wales, so finally a bonus opportunity for Penn State York if there's a foul on the floor. Extra pass at the end for Luton. He's got 3 now.
The execution of the distribution, drawing the defense to him to drop it off for the dime.
Transition 3 the other way, trying to answer was Poole, couldn't do so. 1:05 to go. Plenty of time for a 2-for-1, maybe even a 3-for-2 here for Penn State York.
If you're head coach Paris Petra, you have to be very pleased with this opening 20 minutes by your Penn State York squad. Textbook. This is what they wanted. Take the air out of the ball when they can, slow down the pace. They're looking at a 5-point advantage right now in the final minute of the half.
5 to shoot. Now 3, having to get a shot off is Bennett. Runner in the lane. It's good if it goes. It's off the iron, no good. Gets his own rebound. Second chance, it's stuffed and pulled down finally by Robert Hobson.
Could have kicked that out and run off pretty much the rest of the half. I don't think that was wise to try the putback that quickly. But the turnover.
Yep, and a foul called on Lawson. That's going to be a 1-and-1 opportunity for York at the other end of the court. So not only is that Lawson's second foul, but it might cost them a couple of points here, and Johnson and Wales is going to use a 30-second timeout before they lose it here in the first half, called by head coach Dan Larkin, who's in his first season. He's the 4th coach in program history at Johnson and Wales. He was an assistant coach for Queens University Charlotte, Division II NCAA members for 5 seasons. Before that, he was a student manager for UNC Wilmington under Buzz Peterson, who is now the assistant GM for the Charlotte Hornets.
And Johnson & Wales, of course, located in Charlotte, North Carolina. Come for the Johnsons, stay for the Wales, and or something like that. I don't know. But right now, they, on the other hand, I think Coach Dan Larkin's going to have some work to do here in the locker room during intermission and try to figure out what he can do different offensively. Because right now, it's just the whole offensive philosophy of throwing up these quick shots from deep early in the shot clock. They're making very little effort, Rob, to even get the ball inside or get the ball down on the block or in the paint. They're not even looking in that direction, and I think coming into the second half, that's going to be the adjustment that perhaps they'll need to make.
Well, sometimes the outside game opens up the inside game. Sometimes the inside game opens up the outside game, and when neither of them are working, nothing's open.
Precisely.
So we'll have Larry Rasko at the line for a 1-and-1 opportunity. 71% free throw shooter on the season, averaging a tick under 5 points a game, coming off the bench. First one's too strong, and a lane violation is called. Or are we going to have a foul called instead? Now we have a foul called on Justin Luton, trying to get the offensive rebound.
York foul is on number 12, Justin Luton, his first.
Still a 5-point lead for Penn State York. Luton's going to check out before he picks up his second personal.
A little surprised that Lawson is, or no, he's not out there. Okay. The scoreboard had him still in the, oh, yeah, he is out there. I'm a little surprised Lawson is out there with 2 fouls. Always the chance you could pick up a loose ball foul here or another offensive foul on an illegal screen like that.
It was close. Rasko with a scrappy play. Still fighting for possession. It's touched out of bounds. They're going to say it is Penn State York ball with 7.3 seconds to go in the first half. And it's going to be a 30-second timeout for the Nittany Lions of Penn State York. Another use it or lose it situation for Paris Petrie, the coach for the Penn State York Lions, who defeated Penn State Wilkes-Barre 57-56 in the PSUAC championship game this season. That was back in February 24th. It was the first PSUAC title for the Nittany Lions since 2-1-15.
Who'd you say they beat?
Penn State Wilkes-Barre.
Could there be a rematch
There could
coming
be.
up tomorrow night, right?
Very well could be.
Now, again, as they come out of the timeout, Rob, I'm just a little bit surprised, rolling the dice a little bit here, Coach Larkin, by keeping Loris Lawson out there on the floor. He's number 25. He's going to be under the basket, but with 7 seconds left, he has 2 fouls. Really nothing good can happen of keeping him in the game. If he picks up a third foul, that can affect you throughout the second half.
No, but Lawson, a reserve guy, just trying to eat up minutes here. So we'll see what happens with 5 seconds. And a blocking foul is called on, that'll be Kwan Madden McAfee. That's his second personal, so he picks one up right at the end of the half.
And not a foul you want to commit, Rob, with 3 seconds left on the game clock to commit that foul on somebody who's driving about 18 feet from the basket.
So Rasko gets a chance to redeem himself at the line. He missed the front end of a 1-and-1 just a few moments ago. He'll try to convert on this one. He does. So he has 3 points now. Chance to make it 4.
6-point advantage is York's largest lead of this first half.
Still plenty of time for Johnson & Wales to get a good look here on offense. Can get down the court in about 3 seconds. Almost a 5 count. Baseball pass works, 3 seconds. Layup around, no good. Almost a putback dunk by Lawson. He nearly missed it. And a 35-28 lead for Penn State York, riding that momentum in the longest run into the break at halftime. An interesting first half, that's definitely for sure. Derek Hoffman with 9 points. Marley Poole with 9 points as well. Those are game highs for either side. And everything else has been pretty evenly killed and evenly balanced.
I think if you're York, you have to be very pleased. You did everything you wanted to do. They withstood the early run by Johnson & Wales, who the Wildcats had a 7-point lead early in this game, and everything seemed to be going their way, and York just they just stayed the ship. They just stayed patient. They didn't change their game plan. They just did themselves. They stayed in their lane, as the kids say these days, and the result is they take that 7-point deficit and they turn it into a 7-point halftime lead.
35-28, York leads it over Johnson & Wales. We'll be back with the second half here from Penn State Fayette. 7-point lead for Penn State York, looking to be the final team to clinch their spot in the Division II National Championships tomorrow here at Penn State Fayette. Rob Longo, Chuck Durso, glad to have you with us. Taking a look at some halftime stats. Penn State York, very cold beyond York, 1 of 8. 10 offensive rebounds, though, those second chance points. We talked a lot about those throughout the course of the game and kind of showed up there on the stat sheet, Chuck.
7 rebound advantage overall, and Johnson and Wales just unable to hit from the field, shooting only 32% from the field in the first half. Also balanced scoring for Penn State York, 8 different players on the scoring sheet.
Blocking foul called on Shania Day to start off the second half, just 8 seconds into the final half of regulation.
A quick foul just 8 seconds in after only committing 3 fouls in the first half. In fact, Johnson and Wales did not go to the free throw line in that entire half.
No, and a great block from behind there by Derek Hoffman,
who had 3 blocks in the first half.
The other way, poked out of bounds. Hoffman is on double-double watch. He had 9 points and 9 rebounds. He has 4 blocks now, maybe triple-double with blocks.
Exactly.
That'd be quite the feat.
Don't see that every day.
This one floated out. Hoffman has to backtrack it close to over and back. And he almost shuffled the feet there as well. This way it'll go back to Coleman. Same starting 5 out there that started the game for Penn State York. That's Coleman, Day, Luton, Gillespie, and Hoffman. And that take off the mark by Coleman. And a foul is called on Coleman. He had Marley Poole doing the hokey pokey on 1 foot.
Yeah, spin yourself around, exactly. He was trying to get the held ball, and instead the foul will be called. So 2 quick fouls now, and that's the second personal foul also.
Day picked up his second personal foul earlier in this second half. Same starters for Johnson and Wales as well. Marley Poole, Kawan, Madden, McAfee driving baseline right now. P.J. Gill, Christian Cresswell, and Robert Hobson. Starting 5 for Johnson and Wales to start the second half and the game as well. Baseline move, that one can't get the roll for Gill. Didn't hit the rim, so shot clock just finally now reset as John Gillespie was able to pull down the defensive rebound. In transition, it's Shania Day looking for John Gillespie between the circles. Hesitation, step back. Almost fell in on the roll, but it's picked up by Marley Poole. He's got a clear path to the lane. He goes up strong with it, lays it in with the right hand.
Right over Hoffman there. Not intimidated one bit on the previous possession. Madden McAfee, a beautiful crossover dribble to drive down the lane, but then there was Hoffman waiting, and so he was afraid to put up the shot.
Day tries to go coast to coast, no good. On the tip-in, no good from Hoffman either, and another chance for Johnson and Wales. That one nearly ripped off the hands of Hobson. Poke from behind doesn't work as cutting across the lane was Marley Poole. Open look at a 3. Money from P.J. Gill. 6 points for him off a pair of triples. Johnson and Wales trails by 2.
5-point run to open up the half for the Wildcats, and a quick timeout will be called by Coach Petrie.
It's going to be a 30-second timeout taken by Penn State York. That's also going to be a media timeout here with 17:59 to go in the second half, despite the scoreboard still saying period 1.
It does. I didn't even notice that.
Just noticed it.
The premier medical facility in the area is the Uniontown Hospital, and they support the USCAA Basketball National Championships. Uniontown Hospital is located just minutes from the Penn State Fayette campus and is available to help you with all of your medical needs. Also a reminder to follow the USCAA on social media via Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the USCAA.com.
(35-33). Penn State York still looking for its first points here in the second half. As the Lions from Penn State York looking to make it an all Penn State branch campus final tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Wilkes-Barre already into the finals with an 80-74 win over the 10th seed Vermont Tech, who upset the number 2 seed Villa Maria Vikings from Buffalo, New York. Berkeley College out of New York was upset by these Penn State York Nittany Lions, who are the 9th seed, and ironically enough, or coincidentally enough, either you prefer, the last time that Penn State York was in the USCAA National Championships, it was back in 2017, The Lions were the 6 seed, upset the 3 seed and the 2 seed to get to the finals, played Berkeley, lost in overtime 80-76. Justin Luton was a sophomore at the time, now a senior for Penn State York. He had 2 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 6 blocks, and 5 rebounds in that game.
Pretty good stat line.
Not too bad from a sophomore. This one intercepted on the baseline by Robert Hobson. Hobson going to the far corner. Johnson Wales moving right to left in the home white uniforms. Good drive, but not a finish from Marley Poole. Offensive board, though, by Hobson. He's going to dribble it back out and fire up a 3 off the left side. No good. His third chance opportunity finally falls there for Christian Cresswell. Cresswell now with 4, and it's an even game. Back to where we started. It's tied.
Basketball game of runs, and right now the Wildcats on one to start this second half.
Speaking of runs, we had a game earlier today as a foul is called on Christian Cresswell. His second, team foul number 1 here in the second half. In the Central Maine Community College Penn State Lehigh Valley women's semifinal. Villa Maria and Johnson and Wales. Villa Maria started the game on a 12-3 run over the first 3 minutes of the game. And then Johnson and Wales called a timeout. And then Johnson and Wales women ripped off a 13-0 run after that. So that's about all the evidence you need of a game of basketball. And there's the foul. They're going to see if this is goaltending.
It should be. It was goaltending. Let's see if it's called that way, or at least from up here it looked like it was.
They're going to talk about it. They're going to call the foul first, which is on Cresswell. Cresswell, and count the basket. Officials got together to have a conversation. Johnson and Wales head coach Dan Larkin doesn't like it a whole lot, but his opinion doesn't matter. So give the points to Hoffman. He now has 11, and he definitely has at least 1 rebound here in the second half, so we'll give him the double-double.
And it's certainly, I mean, we don't have the best angle, Rob, of course, from up here, but it certainly looked like goaltending here. I think the right call was made.
The ball was on the window. 12 points there for Hoffman. Looked like it was certainly on its way back down. Again, just wish I had that issue. 38-35, Penn State York leading it. Under 17 minutes to go in regulation. Winner of this one plays at 7 tomorrow against Penn State Wilkes-Barre. Into the corner. Driving. Good bounce pass. How about that finish as well from Jackson Baylark, his first bucket.
See what happens when you're patient sometimes and you don't throw up a quick shot. You just let the offense flow. That was as deep as they've gotten into the shot clock all night long, as that shot was put up with 4 seconds left on the shot clock, and it was a wide open look.
Michael Coleman trying to throw it back, and it ends up being...
They're
going to let it roll all the way back.
I'm not sure why he just let it go out of bounds, because now they get to inbounds under the basket. You touch it.
Better off to touch it, make them go into the front court, waste at least a little bit of time on the shot clock.
Well, also, they haven't exactly defended well on the inbounds under the basket, so that's the other reason.
That is also true. Yeah. Well, this one looks pretty good, but a cutting pull, able to find Baylark, who kicks it out to Kawan Madden McAfee, right on cue with his first 3-pointer. 5 points for him. Back up to a 40-38 lead for Johnson and Wales. Here comes Penn State York the other way. Rasco passes up on a 3. Kicks it out to Day. One more extra pass to Bennett Jr. He gets around the defender. Floater from 15 feet is nothing but net. Anthony Bennett Jr. now with 9, and we're back even at 40. Seesaw affair. Trying to answer was Madden McAfee. That one squirts out. Last touch by York. As Baylark underneath the hoop for Johnson and Wales, trying to plead for a foul. But once again, his opinion doesn't matter a whole lot.
3 lead changes in this game. Also, 3 times we've been tied, where we are right now at 40.
And most of that coming here just in the past couple of minutes in the second half. On the right side of the lane, strong to the rim, it's P.J. Gill. 8 points for him now.
No defensive help there, as once he broke down his defender, he had an open lane to the basket.
And he's so quick to the hoop, it's tough to get that rotational defensive help. Good play there by Baylark. Able to sky on that one. Quick the other way, and Poole laying it in. 13 for him. Johnson and Wales starting to hum a little bit here.
Balark's, fourth block of the night, as he has been a defensive presence on his end, much like Hoffman on the other side.
Johnson Wales definitely playing with some swagger now. That one might have been altered also, but right there for cleanup duty was Derek Hoffman. He now has 14, paving the way for Penn State York. Losing the handle there momentarily was Madden McAfee, but now Hobson holds. Uses the screen a little bit. Hobson with a definite size advantage there on Rasko. Turnaround, floater, no good, a little too strong. Not enough touch on that shot. Anthony Bennett Jr. coming back. Definite size advantage here on matchups at least, for Johnson and Wales, but great ball movement by Penn State York. Oh, that one gets ripped off at the last second. What a defensive play by P.J. Gill.
Beautiful set by the Lions. Hoffman open on the block as there was no defensive rotation for the Wildcats, but a little bit of a bailout play there by Gill to save his squad.
Both teams will talk it over with a timeout on the 4. 44-42. Johnson and Wales leads it with 14:21 to go in regulation here in the semifinals of the USCAA 2019 National Championship semifinal game.
And you know, the USCAA would like to thank everybody who's helped to put on this tournament. And it takes so many people to put on an event like this, so big ups to the Fayette Chamber of Commerce, Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau, Penn Economic Development, Seven Springs Mountain Resort, Herald Standard, Specialty Conduit Manufacturing, WMBS, and of course, Penn State Fayette for hosting the 2019 USCAA National Basketball Championships. Without these partners, this event would not be possible. Championship Wednesday tomorrow at the Division II level, and then the Division I tournament gets underway Thursday, Friday, and Championship Saturday. So if you're within shouting distance here in southwestern Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, come on down to Uniontown, PA, the Penn State Fayette, the Eberly campus, because there's lots of great basketball that you can come and enjoy over these next few days.
So out of the timeout, it will remain possession with Penn State York. Some conversations with the Penn State York assistant coach and the officials. Baseline right on the inbounds. It'll be Larry Rasko to inbound. Check that. That's Anthony Bennett Jr. No, that is Rasko. The number 5 a little scrunched up on his jersey. That was Bennett Jr. that committed the turnover. So now it'll be Hobson as checking in is Zarian Wilkins. Went down to check on pronunciations before the game, and talking to an assistant coach at Johnson & Wales, I asked him how to pronounce Zarian's name, and he goes, just call him Z. He doesn't care a whole lot.
Okay.
Well, we can call him Z.
Z?
Just wanted to use his proper name. That one no good from Kawan Madden McAfee. In the front court now, Anthony Bennett Jr. to Rasko. NBA range 3. Flatline jumper, no good. A little more arc might have given him a little bit more of a chance. Hobson to pull on the 3. Oh, swish. That's a big one.
I was just sitting here thinking, Rob, this is like to use a prize fight analogy. Every time Johnson & Wales throws a haymaker, York has an answer. There have been counter punchers throughout this game. Well, that was a big right hand right there, so we'll see what answer the Lions have.
Yeah, and one more like that, and York might have to hit the canvas for the first time on a knockdown, but right now the Lions trying to counter. That one's short. Good one-handed board there by Hobson using that lanky reach of his. Dump off. That's an NBA range 3 going the other way. Oh, you're feeling it. Come on, Madden McAfee.
Oh, my goodness.
That one might be getting York a little woozy here as Johnson & Wales trying to pull away up 8.
Give him 4 points for that one. That was from way downtown.
Yeah, the Philadelphia 76ers do have that 4-point line in their facility. It might have hit it if that was on the floor here. Rasko hands it off now to Blaney. Blaney has it poked. Here comes Johnson & Wales the other way.
Might be time for a timeout.
Finger roll from Madden McAfee. An immediate timeout taken by Penn State York. And Johnson & Wales is fired up with 12:45 to go in regulation. The Wildcats are up 10. They can smell it.
I think that was a good timeout. Needed to do that. A big run by the Wildcats to run that lead up to double digits, their largest lead of the night. And York, who has been so patient all night long, and staying in this game and staying right where they wanted to be. Right now, things have gotten out of hand. They led by 7 at the half, so we're talking about a 17-point advantage by Johnson & Wales already. Just a few minutes, really, into this second half. It has been all Wildcats up to this point. York needs to take a little time, talk it over, and I would suggest this is going to be a very important next about 2.5, 3 minutes of this game.
It was 35-28 at halftime. Penn State York led Johnson & Wales. Since then, the tables have pretty much turned, and it's been some pretty good three-point shooting by Johnson & Wales that has paved the way. Marley Poole now with 16 points. That's right now a game high. Kawan, Madden McAfee also with 10 for the Wildcats. 4 made three-pointers here in the first 7:15 of the second half by the 5th-seeded Johnson & Wales Wildcats.
And York, meanwhile, seems to be trying to answer with three-pointers of their own. That was not their game in the first half, and all they're doing is helping to trigger that Wildcat offense.
Well, York doesn't have a whole lot of three-point shooting as a whole. Again, went 1 for 8 in the first half from beyond the arc. 32% as a team from the three-point line on the season.
Another turnover.
Pushing it ahead is Baylor. Lots of contact. There's got to be a foul called. And it might be on Luton. And make sure everybody's all right. And it is on Luton, so that'll be his second personal. Luton's had a quiet game. Only 3 points for him after yesterday where he finished with 10. And we saw balanced scoring yesterday from Penn State York as well.
Well, we mentioned at the end of the first half that what York did so well in that first half was, again, to use the phrase, stay in their lane. They're not doing that in this half. They're trying to play a game that's not their game.
Trying to go shot for shot, really.
Right.
With Johnson & Wales. And a hand check called on Shinaide. So his third. Team foul number 4. So already more fouls committed by Penn State York here in the second half than the first half in total. Fouls were a little lopsided there in the first frame. And that one rims out. That would have been a major one from Marley Poole as well. Bennett Jr. gets it stripped. Turnaround swatted. He loses it again. That's got to be frustrating. Not really any numbers, though, the other way. And a travel is called as Ryan Wilkins couldn't quite ever get the handle on it.
York has had a lot of empty possessions in this half as well, where they're not even getting a shot off. Quick hands when they try to drive. People for the Wildcats reaching in to strip the ball away. And then if they don't strip it away, Baylark's back there for the blocks. He has 5 of them.
Trying to run the offense is Penn State York in the front court under 12 minutes to go in regulation. Johnson & Wales still in command, up 10. York has gone cold here for the past couple of minutes. 5 to shoot. Luton with a 3, trying to get his team back into it. Long rebound finds Wilkins. In transition, strong to the rim, and up and in is Jackson Baylark. 4 points for him all here in the second half, back up to 12 now. Imagine this is probably the biggest lead for Johnson & Wales here in the game.
Yes. Nice ball movement there for the short baseline floater.
And Bennett with the baseline floater gets him to double figures. He has 11. Back down to 10. Under 11 minutes to play. High ball screen coming. Hobson step back 3. That one's way off the mark. Good save, though, by Poole, but it's right to Larry Rasco of Penn State York. Day almost traveled, got it off at the last second. Luton couldn't handle it. Puts up a shot, and it was blocked. Defenders going straight up. Luton's second effort, no good. Good box out there. Both guys fighting for the ball. And Day finally comes down with it, and he double dribbles.
He did.
Yeah, he picked the ball up and hesitated and put it back down. Good catch by the official.
Baylark right now is a beast inside. He is not allowing anybody to take it to the tin. You try to go to the hole, and he is right there as the last line of defense. And unofficially, I have him now with 6 blocked shots on the night.
Not a bad night at the office. Under 10.5 to play. Still a 10-point lead for Johnson & Wales. Oh, that one almost changed it from Zarian Wilkins. Dump off to John Gillespie, who's had a quiet night as well of only 2 points. Bennett attacking the defense, able to get the friendly roll. He now has 13. Bennett picking up where he left off yesterday. He had 11 points. Those all came in the first half. A little more consistency today, but the teardrop able to go for P.J. Gill. He's the third Wildcat to reach double figures.
Came around the high screen, and nobody from York rotated over to pick him up.
Bennett almost gets the and one, but he'll go to the line for 2 with 9:47 to go here in the second half. P.J. Gill picks up his first. Team foul number 3. And that'll take us to another media timeout. Timeout on the floor with Johnson & Wales leading 56-46, 9:47 to play in our final semifinal matchup here Tuesday afternoon from Penn State Fayette.
Murray Auto Electric and Radio Communications offers full-service auto, electrical, and communication repair. Founded in 1976, Murray Auto Electric and Radio Communication is a family-owned business with 2 locations to serve you, Delmont and Ford City, Pennsylvania. With a staff of ASE certified technicians, Murray Auto Electric can work on any electric issues in your vehicle. Murray Auto Electric can fix the wires and batteries in any vehicle, tractors, golf carts, motorbikes, even snow plowing equipment. 10 points lead for the Wildcats of Johnson & Wales University with 9:47 remaining in this one. Winner of this game punches their ticket into tomorrow evening's national championship game at the Division II level. Penn State Wilkes-Barre awaiting the winner. Game scheduled for 7 o'clock tomorrow night here at the main arena at Penn State Fayette. If you're in driving distance, come on down and join us for that one. If you're not, join us right here.
Sure, absolutely. Game's locally broadcast on WMBS as well if you're riding around, happen to be within the Signal area. In the 2 o'clock game as well for the women, it'll be top-seeded Ville Maria taking on second-seeded Central Maine Community College. That'll be an interesting game, just 2 different contrasting styles. Ville Maria only has about 8 players deep compared to the other side for Central Maine, who can go 13 players off the bench. First foul shot out of the timeout here from Malik Bullock. There's no good. Check that. That's Anthony Bennett Jr. Looking for that the wrong number 3 over here. Bennett Jr. 13 points. Right around his average. Second shot is good.
When you're trying to play catch-up, you need to take advantage of those free opportunities from the stripe, though, and 1 out of 2 is not going to cut it.
Nope. First off, they don't call them free for nothing.
Right.
Second off, you get to put points on the board with the clock stopped. So you're playing against 2 enemies right now as that one trickles out of bounds. Penn State York right now playing against Father Time, known as the clock, and also Johnson & Wales.
Luton with a nice block there, a good offensive set, and a nice look for the Wildcats, but Luton was able to knock the ball out of bounds. Another opportunity now for Johnson & Wales as the officials will walk over to the scoring table and take care of some business, make sure everything's all straightened up.
Yeah, shot clock reset to 20, which was not the case. Goes back down to 18. Meanwhile, Marley Poole is off the floor right now. Got some blood on his uniform, so he's getting that cleaned up. As Johnson & Wales almost turns it over. In fact, the Wildcats do.
Well, they do. Gill just passed the ball directly to Gillespie on the other team. The inbounds pass, he gave him a really nice bounce pass with solid fundamentals other than it was the wrong color jersey.
It's a bold strategy.
Yeah.
Under 9.5 to go. Luton ran into a lot of resistance and a foul is called. Wasn't really expecting it. They're going to call it on Bullock. That's his second.
Well, they came off the pick and roll there, and nicely executed by Bennett and Luton, but then Luton tried to force up the shot, and, well, a little bit of a bailout foul by Bullock, so Luton will get a pair.
Any way to get to the line at this point if you're Penn State York, again, getting points while the clock is stopped. Deficit's back down to single digits, but Luton not helping his own cause now. 1 for 3 at the foul line today. 51% free throw shooter. Well below his average of 12 points a game.
When you're trying to come back, though, you come back in stages, get it into single digits, then try to get it down to about 6 or 7, then try to get it down to 1 possession. That's how you do it, and we've seen lots of comebacks this week in this men's Division II tournament.
That one rolls off of Z. Wilkins. And it'll be Penn State York basketball. Talked to a Division I basketball player at St. Francis a couple weeks ago. He talked about the mindset of the game. And he mentioned that he takes the game in chunks of 4 minutes. And then after every media timeout, he kind of resets. And he uses that short-term goal as a long-term goal. And a lot of players and a lot of teams could benefit from that mindset too, and one of them being Penn State York here trying to chip back into this game.
Tough luck on those two opportunities, though.
Here comes Hobson the other way with some handles. Dump off pass at the last second. A great look, and Baylark with one of the easiest buckets he'll ever have, and he has 6. Couple of subs coming on now for York at the next stoppage with 8.5 to play in regulation. Trip to the finals on the line, and definitely a travel there, but not called by Rasco. And you can say the ball doesn't lie as he missed that shot.
Yeah, he got away with one there.
Good awareness there on the Johnson & Wales bench by Dan Larkin to tell the Wildcats to slow their roll a little bit on offense. And that's definitely a push-off by Malik Boyd. That might be the easiest call of the night. A couple subs coming on. Kawan Madden McAfee for Johnson & Wales. Shania Day comes on, along with Derek Hoffman, the walking double-double for Penn State York.
I agree with what you said earlier, though. Our strategy used to always be when I played was just win the quarter. Just win the quarter. Just win the quarter. That's how we used to look at it. And what you're saying is the strategy here that the player you talked to expressed, break it down in even smaller chunks.
Sure. Because the mentality behind it is you have the media timeout. The media timeouts are a little bit different here, but whatever the segments you want to make it, you get 2 baskets, an assist, and 2 rebounds, and you're back into the game like that as Hoffman is able to muscle his way to the basket for 16 points of his own now. Good head fake there by
nice hands.
Madden McAfee, but better hands.
Yeah, nice hands defensively. If they could hit from the 3-point land, that would help him as well. They're not doing that.
Coleman's trying to prove you wrong, and the trend stays true. In transition the other way, Madden McAfee puts up a 3, no good. And Joey Dwyer pulls down the rebound. He's into the game as the 3-point threat for Penn State York. He's 35% from beyond the arc. They go inside this time, though, to Hoffman, and he now has 18 and even 9 in each half.
And they don't have to force up the threes, just run their offense. Now, that 3 they missed on the previous possession, that was a good look.
Now, this one thrown away. It goes right to O'Dwyer. Forward to Gillespie, one-on-one. Fake, and up and in. Here comes the run from Penn State York now all of a sudden.
Back down to a 5-point game.
2-possession game. Under 7 minutes to go. The York bench coming alive, and the timeout taken by Johnson & Wales. It'll be a full timeout by the Wildcats. And Johnson & Wales has a chance to do a little bit of soul searching here with 6:49 to go in regulation and the full timeout.
Excellent timeout called by Coach Larkin. Before things get any further out of hand, let's slow things down, let's recalibrate, and let's just get back out there and start working on building that lead back up. Right now, 5-point differential. First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County appreciates the relationships that have been built with so many people and businesses within their communities and looks forward to many more years of providing personalized service and modern banking products. First Federal of Greene provides a high level of commitment to their customers and neighborhoods. Please visit one of their area locations for your banking needs. Timeouts remaining in this game right now. We have just 1 timeout left for Penn State York, 2 timeouts remaining for Johnson & Wales. Foul situation right now. J&W has committed 5 team fouls, while York 4, so neither team even close to the bonus yet, and the possession arrow is pointing in the direction of York.
So 58-53, Johnson & Wales leading. Again, it was a 7-point advantage for York at halftime. Since then, Johnson & Wales really turned it on as York comes out in a man-to-man look, trying to pass around a couple of defenders, and a foul is called with 6:42 to go in regulation.
Got a little hold there going to be called on Gillespie as they came around the ball screen there, and he just grabbed onto the hip just a little bit, so that'll even up the team foul situation at 5 apiece.
So 20 on the shot clock. in the front court. Hobson trying to set a screen, gets it off the roll.
Tried to work around a double screen, a double high screen there.
Hobson with some crossover moves. Tries a floater on the baseline, awkward angle, doesn't get it to fall. Gillespie in transition has Hoffman open but couldn't get it to him. This one falls right to PJ Gill, one-on-one. Lots of contact, and both players went straight up, and Gill is able to get it to fall either way.
Give Madden McAfee credit for stopping what would have been an easy 2 points for York. That was a 4-point swing in a 7-point game.
It's Dwyer, the three-point specialist, no good. Comes PJ Gill. Gets around Coleman. Trying to take on Gillespie as well. Man, he is fearless going to the basket.
Coming out of the timeout, the Wildcats reestablish some domination in this game as they run it up to 9.
I don't know what Dan Larkin said in that timeout, but he needs to bottle it up and sell it. He'd be a millionaire. And an offensive foul called against Johnson and Wales.
It's amazing how this game works. Everything seems to be going your way, going your way, going your way. What difference could it make that you just, you sit down for a second, right? And we see it all the time. Games just change around. That's where coaching comes into play. One of the most important things I think a head coach can do in a game during the actual game is judicious use of timeouts.
Especially here at the national championships, because each team only gets 4 because of the media timeouts. So those timeouts become extra important. And again, it's like the Division I basketball rule. You have the 4 timeouts, but you have to use one in the first half before you lose it, as this one's volleyballed around. Hobson wide open, look at a 3, and it's money, of course. 8 points for him. 37% three-point shooter.
Hobson getting his 3 on, and now suddenly it's a double-digit game again and another turnover.
Chance here for Johnson. Wales going to push the tempo. Here comes Hobson. He's probably going to cram it. No, but it's blocked, and there's a goaltending call. Count the 2 points by Hobson. By the way he was going in there and the way you could feel the momentum in the building, you thought he was going to try to slam one home.
I think if it hadn't been Hoffman back there, he might have tried. I think Hoffman just made him rethink it, and it was a wise choice. Just lay it off the glass. Hoffman called for the goaltend, and now suddenly what we thought was maybe getting to be a very interesting game down the stretch, now suddenly York in a bit of a desperate situation, down 14. Every possession almost becomes a must score.
We'll have one media timeout at the next stoppage. So a free timeout there for Penn State York, and there goes Larry Rasco. Count the foul and the basket. So the foul will be on Christian Cresswell, and that's important because that's his 4th personal. Rasco, with that basket, now has 6 points. It's back down to a 12-point lead with 4:52 to go. Johnson and Wales still in command, but Penn State York can certainly be a team of runs. Might be able to rip one off here with 4:52 to play in regulation and a trip to the championship game tomorrow night on the line.
Barton's Flower Shop in Uniontown, Pennsylvania has been providing flowers and arrangements for every occasion for years. Their work is top rated, and their prices are extremely competitive. You will not find better arrangements at better prices for every type of event you can think of. Visit Barton's Flower Shop for all your floral needs. Also, Ford of Uniontown in Uniontown, well, that makes sense, treats the needs of every individual customer with paramount concern. Ford of Uniontown knows that you have high expectations, and as a car dealer, they enjoy the challenge of meeting and exceeding those standards each and every time. Allow Ford of Uniontown to demonstrate their commitment to excellence.
So 4:52 to go. Johnson and Wales with the lead, but a chance here for Larry Rasco of Penn State York to convert it in one opportunity. And Penn State York with a chance to chip away at this lead. Both teams with 6 fouls, so no more to give on either side, or we'll be shooting foul shots. Possession arrow goes in favor of Penn State York. If there is a tie ball, that ensues. So Rasco at the line, a 71% foul shooter, is 1 of 3 today. Missed the front end of a double-double, or 1-1 back in the first half. Able to hit on that one. He now has 7. In the front court, it's Kawan Madden McAfee driving to the lane. Gets the rolling in. 12 points for him. 10 of those coming in the second half. Madden McAfee has had himself a second period. Takes those kind of efforts to get a team to the championship.
And now York in the situation where they're going to have to start thinking about threes, and there's another turnover, and that just makes the mountain just a little higher to climb.
Just frustration setting in for York a little bit there as they couldn't get one to fall.
They need to stop here, then they need another one, and then another one after that. And again, you're just going to have to take it one possession at a time, but unless they can find a way to hit from beyond the arc, I can't see them getting back into this at this stage.
69-56, Johnson & Wales with a lead. Good no-look pass to Cressman. Cressman loses it, and he gains it on the way up, and he's going to be whistled for the foul. He held on to Anthony Bennett while he was in the air, and he's flustered as, oh yeah, that's right, he fouled out. No wonder he's so frustrated. Forgot that he had 4 personals.
Just not a good sequence. First of all, he takes the shot with 20 seconds to go on the shot clock. You're up by 13 with 4 minutes to go. Why are you shooting that early? I know he thought he had an open look, but guess what? He didn't. He had 2 York Lions contesting him on that layup, so it wasn't a wise shot. And then out of the frustration of missing, he then compounds it by committing the foul.
So Cresswell's done for the evening. He finishes with 4 points, a 2-point goal in both halves. As Anthony Bennett Jr. is at the line for a 1-and-1 opportunity. And he misses. Oh, and it goes off the knee of a Johnson & Wales player, but I'll tell you what, Robert Hobson got decked as he was trying to get a rebound.
And good hands there by Larry Rasco to create the turnover. A big miss on the front end of the 1-and-1, but another chance now for York. Down 13. They cannot have empty possessions at this stage.
Rasco with an open look at a 3, a little too strong off the back iron. And a foul is called this time on Anthony Bennett. And going to the other end, it'll be Marley Poole, who's all cleaned up finally. And we'll go to the line for a 1-and-1. Bennett picks up his first personal, team foul number 7. Both teams with 7 fouls. Poole with 16 points. This is his first time at the foul line today.
Well, as a team, the Panthers haven't, I keep calling them the Panthers, I'm sorry. As a team, the Wildcats haven't been there that often.
It's that old gold and navy blue, thinking of the Pitt Panthers, right?
That's we'll go with that.
Oh, that one doesn't even touch the rim. And Poole is a 64% foul shooter. Didn't bend the knees on that one. Checking in for Penn State York for the first time today as well is Jordan Brown. Brown into the game for Penn State York. Bennett, three-pointer. A lot of contact after the shot, nothing called.
I think he was trying to sell that a little bit too, and a long pass down the other way. That'll be out of bounds. And again, what's your hurry?
Not a whole lot if you're Johnson & Wales. If you're Penn State York, you got a lot to hustle about. Bennett's going to bring it across midcourt. He knows he has a sense of urgency with 3.5 to go. Up and under. Brown sets the feet for a three-pointer. He's got it.
3 for Jordan Brown.
Well, there you go. They need a few more of those. At least they finally break the ice on connecting from beyond the arc. There is still time. Odds are long.
Hobson on a kick out. Well, shuffle of the feet not called. Back iron no good. And ball doesn't lie. Here comes York the other way. Day handing it off to Bennett. Bennett gets the engine going. Can't get the roll as he attacks the rim. And finally coming in with the second effort is Marley Poole. Cross court far side. Hobson's going to step into a 3. No, he's going to pass it. Thought for certain he was going to try to fire one up. 2-on-1 the other way. Dish off. Strong finish. Up, around, and in for Anthony Hawkins. Hawkins a late game sub trying to provide a spark. It's back down to an 8-point game now. 69-61. Johnson & Wales been stuck on 69 for a few minutes now.
A stop and a score here, and suddenly it gets interesting, and oh, there was almost the stop.
I don't know what that pass was. And a lot of contact, just a bad foul there from Bennett. I mean, I didn't get that at all. Hobson was blanketed. There's just a lack of awareness.
And you're right about the bad foul, too. With 10 seconds left on the shot clock, you have a chance there to force maybe a shot clock violation or at least a bad shot, and instead totally bailed them out. Now, front end of a 1-and-1, and when you're trying to protect the lead, these first shots are very important.
Go on, Madden McAfee, first time at the foul line today, and he misses, but an offensive board by Marley Poole. Kicks it out, Madden McAfee. He's better from farther away. Misses the front end of a 1-and-1, but he hit what could potentially be a dagger here. Johnson Wales up 11. Bennett Jr. can't get the three to go. Poole pulls it down. Way in front of the play is Hobson. Hobson turn around. He's fouled. No, don't count the basket. He traveled.
Oh.
He traveled. Oh, man. They called the travel.
I actually thought for a split second you might get an intentional foul situation.
That's what I was thinking, because it was a push in the back there.
York timeout.
They're going to call a full timeout. Penn State York is.
That's their last one.
That's an interesting time to take it, but can't take them back to York with you. That's for certain. I believe that'll extend into a media timeout as well. If not, that's a heck of a full timeout with 1:15.
Yeah, because now you don't have any left, and you won't be able to obviously stop the clock to set up your defense or anything like that after a bucket. If you want to set up a full court press, you're going to have to work all that out right now into what your strategy is going to be. Here's what we do when we score. Here's what we do when we don't. And meanwhile, at the other end, of course, Johnson and Wales, they're just going to talk about, maintaining your composure. Don't let the pressure get to you in terms of defensive pressure full court. Maintain possession. And at this point, again, up 11 with 1:52 left. Any shot with double digits left on the shot clock is a bad shot, unless it's an uncontested dunk.
Or the most open three you've ever seen. Like nobody within 30 feet of you.
If I'm the coach, I'm still pulling the guy and putting him right next to me on the bench if he takes that.
On a clear out, it'll be Shania Day across midcourt. Anthony Bennett Jr. is going to put up a three. Front of the rim, no good. Great rebound there by Marley Poole, skying into the air, and he is fouled on the way back down. 1:37 to go. It'll be on Day. That's his fourth.
Well, I think we'll get a parade to the line now. You have to.
Yeah.
You can't. You have to foul immediately.
Only 9 fouls, so still a 1-and-1 here for Marley Poole. He did miss that front end of a 1-and-1 a little bit earlier. It's Johnson and Wales trying to make it to the championship round here. Got another 97 seconds. That one misses as well. Still life for York. Down 11. Foul is called. Bennett goes to the line for 2. Or it'll only be 1-and-1. Madden McAfee whistled for his third.
Yeah, that won't be a shooting foul.
It'll just be 1-and-1.
But again, not a good foul if you're Johnson and Wales. You don't want to stop the clock for any reason at this stage.
But Bennett has been up and down from the foul line. No, it was a 2-shot foul. Bennett misses the first. He struggled from the line today. 1 of 4. Now 2 of 5.
And to be honest, one of the things you notice at this level, at the Division II level, is you do see poor free throw shooting from teams often in these games, so that's not unusual.
Free throws and turnovers. Those are the big ones that you notice, and the quality of play. Foul called now on Anthony Bennett Jr., his third personal. So now it's Robert Hobson with 10 points.
I was really impressed yesterday, Vermont Tech in their quarterfinal victory. Jeremiah Shaw went 10 of 10 from the line in that big upset victory they had, that come from behind win against the number 2 seeded Villa Maria College squad. And he was 8 of 8 in the second half, 6 of 6 in the final 5 minutes of that game. And every shot, I think he hit the rim maybe twice in those 10 shots.
Again, they don't call him free for anything, and a foul called on P.J. Gill now. Gill's second, and team foul number 9, so still no double bonus here. Regardless, that was a shooting foul for Hawkins at the line now. Anthony Hawkins, that is, 6'3" freshman from York, Pennsylvania, went to West York High School. Can't get the first one to fall. Hawkins did not play yesterday in that win over Berkeley. That 69-67 win. Hawkins able to hit the second, though. He's got 3. Little over a minute to play. And a foul called. It'll be on Jordan Brown. His first. Team is over the limit. So we'll have 2 shots for Kawan, Madden, McAfee.
Takes so much of the pressure off when it's not the 1-on-1, when you know you don't have to make that first shot, and usually you see a result like that. Nice and easy, loose, release, rotation, splash.
16 points for Kawan, Madden, McAfee, above his average of 12.4. He misses a second, so still got it to a 4-possession game right now. Luton's going to throw up a 3. Rims out, no good. Here comes Hobson. Hobson on the break. He's going to try to take it himself. Last second pass and a foul called on Luton.
Didn't need to do that.
No.
The ball was almost thrown away.
So Luton has 3 now. And Hobson now at the line. You wonder if that's just the nature of the beasting where you know you're down and you have to foul and try to extend the game.
Probably. I think that's probably exactly right. It's a crazy thing to say, though. When you look up here, we'll see what happens on these free throws, of course, but this is a 10-point game with a minute 1.
It's not out of the question.
We've both seen 10-point deficits, wiped out in a minute before in basketball. This game is not over.
No, and Hobson struggled from the line. He's missed his last 3, make it 4. He's 0 for 4 from the foul line, and he's a 74% foul shooter. Bennett attacking the rim, roughing around and in. This is where it hurts, though, because
no TOs.
No timeouts.
All right.
Quick foul, though, by Bennett Jr. That's his 4th.
Well, you win national championships by salting games away from the free throw line when you're in the lead. Johnson & Wales has the opportunity to do that right now. They just missed 2. They need to make these free throws. As long as they can make their free throws, no way they lose.
Well, there's 1 from Kawan Madden McAfee. 17 for him now. On the season, he's a 79% foul shooter. He's been up and down today from the line. He makes it 18 now. That's a game high of 18 points. Day lets this one roll a little bit. Good poke there from Cresswell. Or P.J. Gill, I should say.
Oh.
Brown saves it, but right there is Poole. Poole's going to hold.
No need to be in a hurry here.
Yeah, they're going to foul. Brown second for all intensive purposes. And Madden back to the foul line again. Pad some more stats. Try to get to 20. And Penn State York's going to start to empty the bench a little bit and maybe wave the white flag. As the first one is in for Madden McAfee. They're going to pull Shania Day. I'm going to check that. It's going to be Anthony Bennett Jr. The senior's going to get a curtain call. Jordan Brown is going to check out as well. And the second one able to fall for Madden McAfee. 40 seconds to go. York quick the other way. Luton, extra pass on the perimeter. 3 ball, no good. Pulled down by Johnson & Wales. 30 seconds to go. That one was completely unnecessary. Hobson holds.
Well, again, I think they have thrown in the towel, as you said, so they're not even going to foul now. No need to shoot. There's a 1-second differential on the shot clock. They can just let the shot clock run out and then let York inbounds, and this one will be over.
8 seconds to go. Everybody up. Johnson & Wales will move on to the finals to take on Penn State Wilkes-Barre. So no branch campus. All Penn State branch campus final. 77-65 is your final score here from the final game of semifinal Tuesday on the campus of Penn State Fed. It was a good one, 77-65.
I thought that York played a great first half, and then Johnson and Wales played a really great second half as they outscored them by 19 points in that second half, and it showed. Sometimes the score doesn't reflect the discrepancy of play out on the court. This one did. Johnson and Wales absolutely a dominating performance in that second half as they took control right from the opening possession. They scored the first 7 points. It was a 7-point deficit. They immediately tied, and then York regained the lead for a moment, but as soon as Johnson and Wales took their first lead of the second half, it was their last lead of the second half. There was only one lead change in that half. An impressive performance by the Wildcats, worthy of getting them a berth in the national championship game.
So the Division II title games are set. Penn State York finishes the season 22-9. Anthony Bennett Jr. had 17 to close out his collegiate career. Derek Hoffman, another senior, closing out his collegiate career with 18 points. A game-high 20 points to Kawan Madden McAfee of Johnson & Wales as the Wildcats improved to 21-10 on the regular season. And in the women's division, tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Villa Maria, the number 1 seed against number 2 Central Maine Community College. And on the other side for the men, it'll be Johnson & Wales, the number 5 seed against the number 3 seed Wilkes-Barre, Penn State Wilkes-Barre Lions. That will meet in the finals here at 7 o'clock. For my broadcast partner, Chuck DeRusso, I'm Rob Longo saying good night from Penn State Fayette.